Welcome into a very special edition of Under the Influence. I am Brian Glenn. Thanks so much for watching us right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. This is the show that goes a little deeper to meet the people who you see on social media and who you see on TV and kind of get the backstory of why they're a conservative and why they stand for America and its liberties and values. Before we get into that, we want to thank our partner of the day, Patriot Mobile. Without these guys, well, a lot of us are sending our money to big tech, who contributes to the very destructive policies coming from the left. So please go to the website, patriotmobile.com/RSBN. You get a very special offer code for that. It's very simple. It's very easy to switch over. It takes a few minutes, and you can even keep your number. And if you want a new number, you can get that. If you want a new phone, you can get that, or you can keep your old phone. Just go over and see our friends over at Patriot Mobile at the website, patriotmobile.com/RSBN. All right, we've got a very special guest today, Scott Baio, longtime Hollywood actor, television, movies. You've seen them all. And of course, I remember seeing you, Scott, in the very beginning of the Trump campaign back in 2015, and you were on all the mainstream media news outlets talking about President Trump. And while, kind of as he was getting his campaign moving forward, you were very vocal in support of what he stood for.
I was very vocal. I think the reason so many outlets had me on, because I was basically a unicorn. I was the only conservative or the only person in Hollywood that seemed to be supporting Trump at the time. And then more came out. Not that I paved the way, but I think people started coming on board. Yeah, it was fun. It was a great time. It was exciting.
Yeah, it was. And I really honestly remember you were one of the first ones I'd see on Fox and Friends and all the morning shows making the rounds. And, you stood out. You took a leap of faith, because let's be honest, Scott, you've got a lot of people there in Hollywood that don't really align with our values, do they?
No. It wasn't really a leap of faith. I have certain core beliefs and certain things that I think should happen. And Trump seemed to be the only guy on both sides, especially on the Republican side, that was in line with what I was thinking, because the only person I agree with 100% of the time, Brian, is me, right? And Trump was pretty close second. So I decided to jump on board. It's funny because I was originally a Scott Walker guy. My wife and I went to go see him at an event somewhere out here, and he was fantastic. But I always thought the only way to win, and I don't know why more Republicans don't do this, was to fight back and get in their faces. And none of them did it. And we went to my wife and I went to a debate at the Reagan Library, and it was just the Republicans, and Trump was kicking the crap out of everybody. And I went, well, what the heck is this? This is the, I want to put my money on this guy. He was doing exactly what I sort of always dreamed of that we should do. And I went in, I just jumped in the deep end.
Well, we love the fact that you did. And before we get into this very important recall coming up on September 14th, here really just days away, and I think even early voting, if I'm not mistaken, has already started in that state.
Yeah.
Let's go back to your early days in Hollywood and some of the, where was your big break, so to say, when it comes into, getting that first gig?
Oh, I did a film way back, 46 years ago, was it? Called Bugsy Malone. And Gary Marshall, who created Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, Mork and Mindy, and Pretty Woman, and blah, blah, blah. Great man, brought me out to California. I lived in New York, and he brought me to California when I worked for him for 10, 11 years. That was it.
And of course, Happy Days was a big part of a lot of people's lives. It was one of the go-to TV shows, I think, at that time for many years. What was it like on the set with Henry Winkler, and you've got just a star-studded cast there on the show. What was that like on a daily basis?
Oh, it was fun. Every day was just fun. There was problems here and there, of course, when you get a group of people in disagreements or whatever, but it was a feeling of genuine care and liking of each other. And, there was love there too, but you got to like people. And we all liked each other. It was just fantastic. I learned everything from that show and from Gary Marshall and Jerry Paris and from Henry Winkler. And I owe a lot to those people. And it was, I'm trying to, you tend to romanticize things as the years go, but I'm not romanticizing it at all. It was just good fun. And that's, I think, part of the reason that show was so successful.
Mm-hmm. And of course, could you imagine shooting a lot of series now as politically driven Hollywood has become, and we're so divisive? That might be a different situation if that show was actually shot in today's culture. I would imagine, I mean,
I think to put, that was a traditional American values show. And I think, unfortunately, that people are trying to erase all that for whatever reason. I can't understand. To make that show wholesome, family-oriented TV show, be very difficult.
Yeah, it would. Okay, let's shift gears real quickly. California, you guys have a big decision coming up on September 14th. I just saw a report the other day that Newsom has invested millions upon millions of dollars in television ads, social media posts, and just, big time celebrities coming out to say, vote no on this recall. Now I want you right now to convince us all that you need to vote yes on this recall, and why. You live there in the state. What are some of the problems right now you think California has? And
what are some of the problems? Oh my God. Where to begin? Okay. Taxes, the highest in the country. Homelessness, the worst in the country. Drugs, the worst in the country. Crime, the worst in the country. Maybe not as bad as Chicago, but getting damn close. Illegals, the worst in the country. The crime, I go back to crime always because there's no more crime here. Nothing is considered a crime anymore.
Mm.
We have an attorney general in George Gascon, attorney general? Yeah, in George Gascon, who is not prosecuting anybody. And they're trying to recall him now too. Crime doesn't mean anything. You can walk into any store, steal $900 worth of stuff, walk out the door, put it in your car, go back and do it again all day. And if you get caught, one doesn't go with the other. You can't couple crimes anymore. It is absolutely insane what is going on here. The graffiti is disgusting. The roads are crumbling. The cost of living here.
The list.
Everything.
Yeah.
It's endless. You cannot walk down the block and not see somebody defecating on the sidewalk in front of somebody's business, or somebody shooting up drugs in the middle of the day, or walk into a park with your child and have hypodermic needles all over the grass. This is what's happening here. And I'm sorry, Brian, you asked me a question that's very important to me. And the thing that also they are going to put low-income housing. They're going to change the zoning laws here in the suburbs, so you can put apartment buildings just anywhere you want, and have whomever the people are, undesirables there. Some people desirable, a lot of undesirables there, and that's what's going to happen if these people don't wake up. And the thing that amazes me, and that's going to happen, by the way, the thing that amazes me is Democrats are so dug in about never voting for a Republican that they will give up their safety, the safety of their families, their freedoms. They will give up their money. They will give up everything. And I cannot understand that. Safety above all, above all. There's nothing else besides safety. Because if you don't have safety, then everything else is meaningless. And these people are willing to give it up. And I have conversations with them. They go, oh, it's not that bad. And I go, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding. Well, look around. Do you not see the homeless commit crimes? They start a lot of fires, and they just will not vote Republican because the media and the Democrats have so damaged the brand, the Republican brand, that they won't do it. And I talk to these people, and we have so much in common, but they just can't do it. I say to them, I'm as conservative a human being as you're ever going to meet in your life. Now, you might find that frightening, but let me tell you what I believe. I believe you should be able to live your life any way you want. I don't care. I don't care what your lifestyle is. I don't care what the color of your skin. I don't care. Just be a good person and obey the law and be respectful. And we're fine. Other than that, if you want to go marry a lamp, enjoy your life. Whatever you want to do for a living, as long as it's legal, do it. Don't push your views on me, and I won't do the same to you. And that's all I want. I don't want anything else. I don't want to impose the way I grew up and what I believe on anybody. I want you to live. Thank you.
Scott Baio joining us right here on Under the Influence. So Scott, in all fairness, this is just the result of years of Democratic policies in this city. It's not in this state, rather. It's not just all Gavin Newsom's fault. You nailed it. It is a long-term plan that they've been doing. This is not something that just happened in the last 4 years. Obviously, it's gotten worse. But Scott, if people in California don't wake up and go, wait a minute, we keep following these policies that lead us down the same hole, you're going to get the same results.
Right. And I believe that, I don't want this to sound mean anyway, but I think people are so into their cell phones and the Facebook and Twitter that and that's all they know. They on Facebook and Twitter, the homelessness is the Republicans' fault.
Yeah, good point there. Good point.
What are you talking about? We haven't had, this is a one-party rule state. What do we have to do with it? But this is what they're being fed, and they don't know anything else. And I'm not saying everybody. Some people are just diehard, bleeding heart liberals, and they keep giving these people money on the street corners, and that's just who they are. But the other people, I think, are just I think are uninformed, and it's sad to me.
It is sad, and Scott, it is bad. And for those watching right now, if you have not been to California in the last few years, or I encourage you to take a trip out there and see how it's everywhere. It's the street corner, everywhere. It's the side of the freeway. Scott, you know this. You can't hide what's going on there right now.
No, it's everywhere you look. And my wife and I keep talking about moving, but how does one do that? I've been here for 40 plus years, whatever, friends, family, life, school, everything. My life is here, but I will move if it gets to the point where it's just intolerable. But right now I've got a 13-year-old daughter who loves her school. She goes to a very good Christian school, which is another unicorn out here. And she loves it. She loves her friends, and I have good friends in my family. My wife has friends, and her family's all back in the mid and south. So you can't you go listen. That one of the highest property values in California is Santa Monica. Go to Santa Monica. It looks like a third world country, and I don't know if they'll change their votes. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that I can say I don't know is frightening, because
Right.
people can't walk out of their homes, but they'll live with it. So they won't vote, so they don't have to vote Republican.
Right. And I think, if you correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of the push behind vote no on this recall is they're positioning it where if you vote yes, you're going to get some Trumper in here. And I think they're scaring people that if you vote no for Newsom, then you're going to get the Trumper coming into the state. Is that an accurate assessment there?
If you vote for Larry Elder, or if you vote no, you're voting to die.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, that's what they're saying, to die. So they put, but Brian, this is nothing new. I've been saying that Republicans want to kill people forever. We want to deny people things forever. Excuse me. So until and I go back to Trump. I don't know why every Republican doesn't follow his lead. Just fight back. Just come out and say it's bullshit. Sorry, it's crap. Just say it, because it is. I don't want people to die. And again, you can't find anybody more conservative than me. Maybe Attila the Hun, but other than that, and I love people. I love everybody. If you're good to me, I love you. And
Right.
that's what that. And by the way, that's every conservative person that I know. Everyone.
I agree. You know,
And
when I
they treat us as these barbarians.
Yeah. When I hear people talk about Republicans being racist or homophobic, I thought, well, I don't know one single conservative in my circle. We've got a pretty big circle of contacts. So do you. That's not what I'm seeing at a Trump rally. That's not the narrative that I'm seeing. It's just quite the opposite. Okay. So you're in California. Tell me, have you gotten a ballot mailed to your house? Are you getting people?
Yeah, I did. I had a friend of mine had 2 ballots mailed to his house. Got 4 ballots for him and his wife's. Now, what is that? What is that? You know, I just want to go back. You said something about we have a wide group of people that we hang out with. I smoke. I'm a cigar smoker, and I go to a lounge.
Yeah.
Good man. And I go to a lounge near my house, and in that lounge are whites, blacks, Persians, East Indians, from people from all. I'm in LA. It's a multicultural city. We all talk to each other. We all make fun of each other. We all go after each other politically, and we laugh and we have a good time, and we yell at each other, and we get up and we say, "See you tomorrow." So this animosity that they try to portray on television is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sick of it. I'm just so sick of it. I can tell you story after story about different people from different countries that I hang out with, and we get along great. And I'm anyway. So what was your question was about ballots? Go ahead.
No, that's a great point. Go ahead.
I got my ballot. Yeah, go ahead, whatever you want to say.
No, that was a great point. You know, it is all a bunch of crap. Actually, they're trying to divide us once again with now mask, unmasked, vaccine. It's all about divisiveness in our country. No, I was asking you about the mail-in ballots because I know weeks ago, because the new Delta variants, the Governor Newsom was encouraging people to mail in their ballots. Matter of fact, I think it was quite easy that you could print it out yourself. I don't know how true that is, but let's talk about, do you plan on, personally, Scott, I like to walk my happy butt into the voting station and do it right there in person. I don't know what your plans are.
Well, no, I mailed it in, Brian, only because I don't know what to trust anymore. Are the machines legit? I don't know.
Yeah, good point.
I hear so many different things. Are the ballots legit? I don't know.
Yeah.
Who is it? Stalin who said, "I don't care who votes, I care who counts the votes." I don't know if there's cheating, but because there's so much I watch the news and I'm being fed so many things that I know not to be true. I don't trust anything anymore. And it's unfortunate. I don't trust government at all.
Mhm.
So this is what it is. So I sent it in the mail, and does it count? I don't know.
Yeah. Now, in your circle and just your everyday life, driving to the grocery store, the bank, whatever, what are you seeing signs or are people talking about it? Of what? Because I know I've talked to a couple of people in California, and they had to ask me, Brian, well, when is that election? And I'm thinking, are you kidding me? You should know this. I'm in Texas, and I know it's September 14th. Are you seeing any kind of
Yeah,
buzz on the street?
I went to two on the streets. Yes, I went to a rally yesterday where I introduced Larry Elder.
Okay.
And there was about 3,000 people there out in Ventura County. It was packed,
Mm.
and it was all good people, all good Americans, all wanting to save California, all wanting to restore this place to what it was once the most beautiful state in the country, by far, in my opinion. It was magnificent. A lot of people are into it. I talked to people. Most of the people I talked to are voting yes to recall. Most of them, and they're not all conservatives. We had some friends over last night. An older lady, dear friend of ours, big Democrat, voting yes to recall. And I don't know who she's voting for, but I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. She could vote for Winnie the Pooh, and I'm fine. But there seems to be some momentum for Larry, a lot of momentum. I was at an event also for him a couple of weeks ago for the Jewish Republicans Alliance, and there was 1,000 people there, and they're all energized and all looking at all being active. So it seems like momentum is going his way, and then you see polls, but I don't believe any of the polls either.
It's true.
So it's looking pretty good, I guess. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball.
Yeah. Well, my next question was, and I asked a couple people yesterday that live in the state, and they're active down there in Orange County. And they said, Brian, I don't think we'll have the results to this recall for days, or if not weeks after the election. Are you feeling the same?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't trust anything anymore. I just don't.
But where do we go, Scott? I mean, let's just say that there's overwhelming support that we know Trump won that election. Okay. And we know there's a lot of support for this recall. And let's just say that doesn't go the way we think it should go, and there's voter discrepancies. What do we do as citizens, Scott? I'm getting angry, to be honest with you. And I think you and I both agree that we don't think that the election integrity in this country is valid any longer.
No, I find it so, and people never mention this. When Trump won in 2016, there was election fraud. Russia was involved, and they pounded that drum for 3 years, 4 years. He was a fraud. It was a fluke. On and on and on and on and on. Biden wins, and you can't say anything. Can't say a word about it, although either they'll come and arrest you, or you'll be a freak. They'll ban you. They'll block you. They'll cancel you, but you can't. So what do you do, Brian? I don't know. I think we have to inform people. I don't know what else to do, because conservative people are not rioters. We're not, we'll do a Tea Party event in DC with 1 million people, and we'll leave everything immaculate when we leave.
It's true.
But we won't burn down buildings. It's not who we are. And I'm not saying Democrats are, but a faction of the Democrat Party burns down buildings. So the squeaky wheel gets the grease. But
yeah.
I just think we need to communicate with people. Doing rally, Trump had 50, 60,000 people at a rally. Who does that?
Yeah.
Who has so many people? So we thought we were doing it, but something went wrong.
Yeah.
So
Well, I've seen some videos go viral. These people are in restaurants going, "Where's all the Biden voters? Like, where are you? Where are these people that supposedly had the most votes in U.S. history?" It's becomes comical at one point. I will say this: people in Southern California, and I say that in particular because that's kind of seems like that's where all the rallies or the flag waving's taking place. You guys are patriots. You guys are definitely stepping up. And for someone who's in Texas, it's easier for me to get out and wave a Trump flag in my community. But in Southern California, where you live, you got to be your backbone's got to be a little stiffer going out and doing that, because you are right there in enemy territory for the most part. So I got to applaud all the efforts of everyone who lives in Southern California. Flag waving. I've seen them.
I tell you something, I've never seen that. In all my years here, I've never seen that. I've never seen the people coming out for Republican candidates like I have for the 2020 election, and now for this. There was I remember before the presidential election, I was in Beverly Hills at a rally, and I can't tell you how many people were marching. I've never seen that, truly, and I'm here a long time. So that tells me that people are fed up. And then yesterday and the other event that I went to, people are walking around carrying signs, and people I hope are fed up with this, because it's bad out here.
It is bad. And my son lives in Hollywood. I think we've talked about that before. So I have a dog in the hunt, because I want the California that I visited and lived at one point in the late 80s, 90s. It was a very different state than what it is now. I just want it's such a beautiful state. I just want a better place for you guys to live.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And I do this. And the fact of the matter is, I do this. I come out as I do, not so much for me, but for my kid.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't have that much runway left. You know what I mean? I'll be 61 in a couple of weeks.
You look young, and I'm going to tell you right now, the chats on this video, when we post it up, is going to say just how young you look. We want to know Scott Baio's diet is what we probably want to know in all of this.
I eat very poorly. Cigars and pasta.
Okay, I've got both those covered too. Just had one earlier. No, you look great though. But you're right though. You just want a better place for your daughter to grow up and enjoy all the beauty of Southern Cal and the opportunity. Scott, we haven't talked about the economy. You have the 5th largest economy in the world,
and people are leaving here in droves. But Brian, above all of that, I want my daughter to be safe.
Oh,
that's it. Anything else I can deal with. I just want her to be safe. I want her to be. I don't want her to know about drugs, and I want her to be able to walk down the street anytime she wants. That's all I want for her.
Yeah. Well, to recap, the recall election is September 14th. Early voting is going on now. We'll put the information in the post down below. And look, being in Texas, I share everything I can about California. Any kind of news that come out, Scott, I share it because I want everybody to know what's going on in that state, because there's simply, the media is not going to cover some of the things that Scott has talked about today. For sure, they're not covering it. You turn on KTLA or Fox 11 they're not covering a lot of this stuff that you see on the ground.
Yeah,
just not seeing it.
Yeah, that's the other thing that sort of boggles my mind. These people live here.
Yeah.
And I always ask myself, what's the end game? What do they want? Do they want total anarchy here? Is that what? Because if they want that, they're getting it.
They're getting it.
It's going to happen. And it escapes me. I'm a simple man. I have simple beliefs, and I ask for simple things. And everything seems to be so convoluted.
Before I let you go, Scott, I got to ask you, I've seen a lot of videos online of the mask and vaccination passport mandates there in LA County. Do you experience any restaurants that you want to go into and all of a sudden you got to flash the passport in order to get in?
Not yet, but I'm sure that, but that's the other thing. If we don't recall Gavin Newsom, he's going to lock us down again.
He's going to lock you down again.
Guaranteed.
All right. Scott Baio, the great Scott Baio, joining us here on
Yes, the
Under
great Scott
Influence.
Baio.
I love it. And if someone wants to follow you on social media, I was just on your Twitter checking it out earlier. How may they do that?
At Scott Baio, is that my thingy? At Scott Baio. And I don't know the Facebook one. I forgot it.
Well,
What's the
they'll
time?
look you up. There you go. You're getting to call in one of your
That's
fans.
for my
probably.
wife. Hold
There you
on,
go.
hold on. You can see me in action. Hello.
Exclusive.
Goodbye. No,
That's
listen,
how quick.
I'm gonna
That was Gavin Newsom asking for your vote.
right. Hey, I'm going to call you later about the other thing.
I got you. Oh, hey,
Okay.
look, we really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And we look forward to having you here on Right Side Broadcasting again. And let's keep fighting. And I'll be out there in California soon. So I can't wait to catch up and have a cigar. By the way, what is the official cigar of Scott Baio? What do you like to smoke?
What is?
The official cigar. What do you like?
Oh, I smoke a Nub, Connecticut.
Okay.
That's
I'm a Drew
my-
Estates guy.
You're a what?
A Drew Estates or
I
Olivia.
don't know
Yeah.
what that is.
It's good stuff. I'll bring it. I'll bring it.
Yep. Okay, we'll have a smoke.
All right, man. Scott, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Talk to
All
you.
right, until next time, don't forget to go check out our partner of the day, Patriot Mobile. Log on to patriotmobile.com/RSBN to get a very special offer on that. We've all got a cell phone. We all spend a lot of money towards our cell phone. So why not contribute to conservative causes? And that's exactly what they have done. Log on to patriotmobile.com/RSBN for a very special offer. You don't have to give up your phone number. You don't have to give up your phone. You can simply switch plans, save some money, and start contributing to conservative causes. So shout out to our good friends over at Patriot Mobile. And as always, you can download our app on your phone. Go to your Apple, your Android store, search RSBN, download it. It's absolutely free. You can see past shows and archives and rallies and future events and interviews like we just did, all right there on your cell phone, uninterrupted, unfiltered, and cannot be canceled by big tech. Until next time, goodbye. God bless. We'll see you later. Patriot Mobile is the only Christian conservative wireless provider in the country. Now more than ever, it's vital that we support companies and organizations that share our values. You get award-winning customer service and the technology you need to connect your worlds. Simply go online to patriotmobile.com/RSBN for special offers.